What's up, zoners, and welcome to the earliest waiver wire show on the planet. Today, I'm going to be going over all of the players on your waiver wire that you should pick up and how much you should spend on them. We have a wide receiver, man. He was drafted in the first round last year, so we got that second-year wide receiver bump. He just got over 100 yards from Justin Herbert. He has 4 touchdowns in the last 6 games. If you're desperate for wide receiver, hang around for that. We also have a tight end, man. This guy is a rookie, 4th-round rookie. He was drafted just to make Bryce Young good. Well, shit, that's never going to happen. But hey, we got to start paying attention to him now. He was a top-rated tight end right behind Brock Bowers, for God's sakes, man. So spend some money on this dude. This is a early waiver wire show. I am shooting this at the halftime of the afternoon games. I say that there's still time left in the second quarter, so don't listen to everything I say. But still, early show. If I miss somebody on the late games or the Monday night game, it will be down below in the comments. I need you to comment below as well if you have somebody that I missed. This is a group effort, and waiver wire is super important. I have all my notes typed out, man. You got to wait 7 seconds. You can do it! All right, guys, let's start off with the wide receivers. First up, man, this is your last chance. This is the last time this guy's going to be on the show. 48% rostered right now. Spend 30% plus of your fab. All right. I picked him up for free a couple weeks ago. I told you to. I told you not to start him this week. He had the second worst cornerback matchup. But hey, garbage time is a beautiful thing, especially with Jameis Winston as your quarterback. He ended up with 6 receptions on 11 targets. That was tied for the team lead. That is what we're looking for. 75 yards, that led the team, and had a touchdown against the super tough Chargers defense. And they played super well today. Watson is out forever. Jameson in. As long as Jameson is in, dude, Cedric Tillman is probably going to be a top 15 wide receiver, almost a wide receiver 1 for you, a high-end wide receiver 2 in full PPR. Holy shit, man. He's probably leading in targets over the last 3 weeks for wide receivers. 3rd-round draft pick. The draft capital is there in 2023, so he even has that second-year wide receiver bump. Go pick him up if he is still available. Spend what you have to. He is on bye next week, but he has the 10th best strength as schedule for the rest of the season. So hopefully he is available and people don't spend that much because of the bye, but you have to get him. And then, hey, man, I picked this guy up. This guy was on the waiver wire list after week 1, caught those 2 touchdowns. He has been injured almost every single game since. 21% rostered. So people were like me and dropped his ass after spending money on him. 15% or more, man, I would spend on this guy. If you were desperate for wide receivers, kind of like I have been, I would do it. 4 receptions on 5 targets for 118 yards, man. This guy is the big play guy, whereas McConkey is the PPR slot guy. And a touchdown versus Cleveland. Cleveland's defense has been playing pretty damn well over the last month, and he's still got 118 yards and a touchdown. 4 touchdowns in 6 games played this season. He's played 6 games, man. He's got 4 touchdowns in those games. So Quentin Johnson with Justin Herbert making magic, man. And the Chargers, 14th lowest run rate over the last 3 games. I've been paying attention to their run rate over the season. It has been going down, down, down. And I checked out the last 3 games. They've been passing the ball at an average rate, which is unheard of for Greg Roman and this offense. They are versus Tennessee. They're hosting Tennessee week 10. They're giving up the 5th fewest fantasy points. They got Snead over there. 21.8 fantasy points to wide receivers. A bad matchup next week, but all he needs is 1 play. Xavier Legette, he did get injured today, but he is available in what, man? Over 60% of your leagues. 4 receptions on 6 targets, led the team in targets, and he still went out for a while. I don't know if I didn't get to see if he came back into the game or what, so pay attention to that. But a touchdown in back-to-back games, all right? Bryce Young touchdown 2 weeks in a row to him. He has 4 touchdowns in the last 6 games played. So Xavier Legette is coming around. He is a first-round rookie, so the draft capital is there. First, the Giants, week 10. The Giants are giving up the 16th most fantasy points. That is an average matchup to wide receivers. So Xavier Legette, dude, he is their touchdown machine. He is their red zone target for the Panthers. That's not like a lot, but at least you'll get like a 50% chance for a touchdown on a weekly basis. Then, hey, man, Noah Brown. He was killing it for about, like a half? But he still ended up with 6 targets, which led the team for 60 yards. He is barely rostered. I had him last year. He was awesome with CJ Stroud. I bet you CJ Stroud had him back right now. But he was getting like 14 targets a game with CJ Stroud. So he is actually a pretty good wide receiver. Let's see. McLaurin only had 19 yards, but 2 touchdowns. So McLaurin is the wide receiver to own here, but we're still waiting for that second wide receiver option to bust out. Noah Brown might be doing that. 15% target share over the last 5 games, 31% target share this week. So this is an outlier. He gets Pittsburgh week 10. They will be focusing on McLaurin probably the most. So Noah Brown actually might have a pretty good matchup next week. We'll look into that. 10th fewest fantasy points per game to wide receivers, but as the second wide receiver there, he actually might, because he's not going to be shadowed by Joey Porter Jr., he might get the targets again. All right, man, on to the tight ends. We told you to start Mike Gesicki if Higgins is out. Well, Higgins is out, man, and he actually announced it, I don't know, it was like a couple hours before the game, thank God. This guy is available in like 90% of leagues. 10% fab, especially if you are a T. Higgins owner. Holy shit, man, you need to be picking this guy up. 5 receptions, 6 targets, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's going to be the tight end 1 for the week. Led team in targets last week with Higgins out as well. So if Higgins is out, he literally is running those. I don't know what he's doing, man, but he is the play in there. And if you know anything about T. Higgins, he could be out for the rest of this year, man, and nobody would even bat an eye. Him and injuries are crazy, but he was just playing so well. So we do need to pay attention. And again, it wasn't just this first time that Higgins was out where he's been dominating. Gesicki had 13 targets over the first 2 games of the season with Higgins out. He is averaging 1 target per game with Higgins in. So unstartable with Higgins in. Tight end 1, dude, with Higgins out. Holy shit. Out Baltimore, week 10, 7th most fantasy points. So, hey, man, if Higgins is out, you are starting Gesicki next week, and it will be a great matchup. Jatavion Sanders, all right? I'm getting to know this guy today. 0.4% rostered. I spent 10% of my fab here. 4 receptions on 5 targets for 87 yards. That led the team. The Panthers, Bryce Young, all right? We're like, what about Coker? What about Coker? Coker had a bad matchup. I went over that on the matchup show on Wednesdays. But still, Jatavion Sanders. They drafted him, like I said, a rookie tight end, the top-rated rookie tight end behind Bowers via PFF. 4th-round rookie. He's only 21 years old. This guy is super young. He led the Panthers in targets and reception yards week 7, and then they went against Denver, and Denver's defense was just too much for them. But hey, man, I'm just saying, this guy is a rookie wide receiver, great draft capital, tons of talent on a team that just needs people to throw to. Everybody's injured, especially a tight end, man, for like Bryce Young. That goes together for me in my head, my logic. Versus the Giants, week 10, 3rd fewest fantasy points. That is not great, all right? But still, Jatavion Sanders is somebody to keep an eye on. Hunter Henry, man, what are we doing here? He's literally a top 7 tight end in full PPR with Drake May. So 40.8% rostered. If he's available, go pick him up. 10%, maybe 15% fab on him. 7 receptions on 6 targets. How the fuck did that happen? I don't know. I wrote that down wrong. Obviously. I think it was 8 targets. I think it was 8, if I remember correctly. For 56 yards. So he led the team in yards. Dude, Tennessee giving up the 6th fewest fantasy points to tight end. So even with the bad matchup, man, he got a tons of targets and receptions. So full PPR, man, is getting you over 10 points, no problem. 2 top 7 tight end weekly finishes in 3 weeks with May, and now we've got a good 4th week with May. So 3 out of 4 weeks, he is doing really well with Drake May. Tied for 2nd in reception touchdowns last year. We are still waiting for these touchdowns, man. If they do pop up, he will be a top 3 tight end. Holy shit. At Chicago, week 10, they're giving up the 11th fewest fantasy points per game to tight ends. But again, man, they have really good cornerbacks, so sometimes they force the issue to tight ends. I like Hunter Henry next week. And then, hey, this guy to keep your eye on. I saw that he had 3 targets in the first quarter for Jordan Love this week. 0.8% rostered. Calcaterra? Oh, not, I mean, this was, okay, I take it back. That was not for Jordan Love. It was for Jalen Hurts, man. So Hurts already targeted this guy 3 times in the first quarter. He was the most targeted player in the first quarter. So you know Dallas Goedert, man. Dallas Goedert was getting like 15 targets a game there for a minute, but still. Goddard out. 3rd straight week with an injured hamstring. It could be 4 weeks, no problem, if you need a tight end. Next up, quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, man. 43.4% rostered. 10% fab I spent on him. This guy has been passing the ball. Do you remember when I said that the run rate has been going down? They were actually passing at an average rate. 32 plus pass attempts in each of the last 3 games. 14th in yards per attempt. 15th in highly accurate throws. They get Tennessee week 10. 13th fewest fantasy points. Hey, man, you saw him this week. Throwing the ball deep to Quentin Johnson. With all of his weapons healthy, Justin Herbert is almost a startable quarterback. And then this guy right here is kind of like, I don't know, man. Threw the ball 41 times, ran the ball 8 times. When you think about opportunity for quarterbacks, That is amazing, man. Drake May, 10% rostered, 1% fab I spent on him. Again, threw the ball 41 times. He only got 200 yards and a touchdown with that. He ran the ball 8 times for almost 100 yards, dude, against Tennessee, which is a really good defense. Tennessee kept Joe Flacco under control, man. So two top 10 weekly finishes of the 3 weeks that he's had the starting job heading into this week. But he's had bad matchups after bad matchups. His schedule does open up. Holy shit, dude. Drake May will be a top 10 quarterback here in a minute. Again, a terrible matchup, dude. At Chicago, week 10, the second fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks. You can't start him next week either. But you need to start thinking about him. Zamir White. All right. Most of these running backs suck. That's why I kept him for the very end. Only fresh meat we have here is Zamir White. 35% rostered. Dude, we were pushing him in the beginning of the season because I thought he was going to be good this year. I thought the Raiders would be a lot better this year. Holy shit. One of the biggest busts this season. Only 6 rushes, 10 yards. He did get that touchdown. 6 touches of Madison's 9, so Madison still did not do much. And then Antonio Pierce was saying all week that they want to get Zamir White rolling again. And then here we go. We come out and he gets a touchdown and a lot of early touches. So it is worth, if you're desperate for a running back, it is worth paying attention to. I'm not going to mess around with this shit. They are on a bye next week, and they have the 11th worst strength of schedule, so it's not like they have some amazing strength of schedule going forward. Zamir White, if you're desperate. And then here we go with the handcuffs, man. Ray Davis, you saw he only had 4 rushes and 2 receptions, all right? So Cook had 15 touches. Ray Davis only had 6, but you see how good he is. He's a top-tier handcuff, 4th-round rookie. Buffalo runs the ball a lot. They get Indianapolis next week. I still would not be starting him at all because he is not getting the touches. But if anything ever happens to Cook, man, I was like, dude, trade away Cook. Give Davis the full load. Braylon Allen, all right? He started off amazing, and now he just keeps on going down. He is still a top-tier handcuff. Hall is still getting, 80% of the rushing share this week and also had 4 targets. Allen only had 4 rushes, man, and 1 target. So he is an afterthought there. He is just a top-tier handcuff. Vidal, same shit, man. Dobbins went off for 2 touchdowns. This guy went 5 rushes for 7 yards, all right? He is a rookie, and hey, man, we have Gus Edwards eligible to return from IR. Week 10, I really don't care because that fool was doing nothing before this. Kamani Vidal at least gives him a little bit better pass catching there. But still, great handcuff. Versus Tennessee, week 10. Tennessee, average versus running backs. They're just really good against the pass. Blake Corum, another amazing top-tier handcuff. Dude, Kyren has the highest usage rate out of any running back in the NFL. I was just talking to Jason. When you see Corum take a handoff, you're like, oh my God, Kyren looked good right there. That was Blake Corum. So if anything ever happens to Kyren, dude, Corum's going to come in and be a top 10 running back immediately. They do have Miami next week. They're giving up the 9th most. They are a they are a run funnel defense. So it doesn't matter. Blake Corum still will not be startable next week. Last handcuff, Trey Benson got me dude. I started Connor. I mean, Connor's got 2 touchdowns vultured already. Arizona's up 14 points. One is Trey McBride 1-yard touchdown, and the other one's Trey Benson 1-yard touchdown. Come on, dude. What the fuck? Anyways, at the Jets. No, they're hosting Jets week 10. The Jets are average against the run. Again, though, this is just a handcuff. All right, everybody, that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please comment down below if I missed anybody. That will help everybody out tremendously. And look out for my comments coming in after these games, okay? Hey, if you actually did like this, don't lie to yourself. Please give me a thumbs up because that gives our video a chance to go see more people. And that is exactly what we need, man. We need exposure, all right? We also need subscriptions. So please, man, hopefully I earned a subscription. If you are not already subscribed, that helps a ton, all right? We have a trade target episode coming out Tuesday morning. We got some quarterback matchups and stuff like that. But again, hey, thank you so much for watching. This is Tyler Big Turd Ward, and I appreciate you.